When you embrace your worth, everything changes. It starts from within, because how you view yourself dictates how the world will treat you. If you don't value yourself, why should anyone else? The way you carry yourself, your confidence, the way you set standards, all of that stems from the belief that you deserve the very best. If you want men to treat you like a queen, you must first believe that you are one. There's a common misconception that we have to earn respect or love from others. But the truth is, it's about recognizing that your worth doesn't need to be earned. It's already within you. And when you acknowledge that, the way you walk through the world changes. People pick up on that energy. They can sense it. You no longer have to chase or prove yourself to anyone. When you step into your power, the right people will recognize you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being secure in who you are, flaws and all. When you embrace your worth, you understand that you are deserving of respect, kindness, and love, without exception. Confidence is the foundation of everything. And it starts with how you see yourself in the mirror every day. If you can look at yourself and say, I am worthy of the very best, that belief will radiate outwards. Now, this doesn't mean that you'll always get everything you want or that you won't face challenges. It doesn't mean that everyone will treat you the way you deserve, but it does mean you stop tolerating disrespect. When you value yourself, you know that it's okay to walk away from situations or people who don't appreciate you. You don't need to beg for attention or approval. You understand that your value doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's treatment. You are worthy because you are, and nothing can change. The way you treat yourself will set the tone for how others should treat you. Self-love isn't just about treating yourself to occasional pampering or nice things. It's about respecting your time, your energy, and your needs. It's about putting yourself first without feeling guilty. It's about saying no when something doesn't align with your values or when you feel drained. When you start treating yourself with the love and respect you deserve, you raise your standards, and others will follow suit. Ultimately, embracing your worth is about stepping into the fullness of who you are, unapologetically. It's about knowing you are enough as you are. When you accept and love yourself, you open the door for others to treat you accordingly. You will no longer accept less than you deserve, and that's the power that commands respect. Once you embrace your worth, you create a life where people, especially men, will see you as someone worthy of being treated like a queen. You see, everything starts with you. When you know your worth, the rest falls into place. That belief in yourself will shift everything around you, from how you view relationships to how you interact with the world. So own your worth, step into it fully, and watch the world respond accordingly. When you decide to set boundaries, you're not just drawing lines in the sand for others to follow. You're teaching people how to treat you. Setting boundaries is a powerful act of self-love because it shows that you recognize your own needs, your time, and your emotional space. It signals that you value yourself enough to say no when necessary, without guilt or second guessing. When you respect yourself enough to establish these boundaries, others are forced to respect them too. When you respect yourself, setting boundaries with yourself allows you to flourish, and thereby allows you to flourish. When you respect yourself enough to establish these boundaries, others are forced to respect them too. Many women find themselves in situations where they feel taken for granted or disrespected simply because they haven't set clear boundaries. Maybe it's tolerating inconsiderate behavior, agreeing to things you don't want to do, or letting someone take up emotional space without ever giving anything back. It's important to understand that without clear boundaries, people will often unconsciously take advantage of your kindness, your time, and your energy. You're teaching them that it's okay to treat you poorly simply by not communicating your limits. When you decide to set boundaries, it's not about pushing people away, but about creating space for healthy, meaningful relationships. A boundary is a form of protection, not isolation. It allows others to understand the way you work, the things that are acceptable to you, and the things that aren't. When you clearly communicate what you need and what you won't tolerate, you're setting the stage for more genuine interactions. It helps to avoid misunderstandings, to prevent overexertion, and to ensure that you are always treated with respect. Some people may push back or even test your boundaries, especially if they're used to having more access to you or taking advantage of your kindness. But this is where your strength lies. Stand firm without being combative but resolute. Setting boundaries isn't about being harsh or cold. It's about being clear and consistent. And while others may initially resist, the more you stand firm in your boundaries, the more they will start to understand and respect. You're not being unreasonable by wanting your space and your peace. You're creating a space where both you and those around you can thrive. As you continue to practice setting boundaries, you'll notice a shift not only in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. You'll stop overextending yourself for others' benefit. You'll stop neglecting your own needs for fear of disappointing someone else. And you'll stop tolerating behaviors that don't align with your values or expectations. Instead, you'll attract people who respect your limits, who value your time and your presence, and who are willing to meet you at the same level. Remember, it's not selfish to have boundaries. It's essential. It's a way of ensuring that you're not only respected, but also that you have the emotional energy and space to give your best self. Setting boundaries enables you to maintain your emotional well-being and teaches others how to treat you. It creates a space where love, respect, and mutual understanding can flourish. As you establish these boundaries, you'll find that you begin to attract better quality relationships and connections. Those who genuinely care about you will honor your limits. Those who don't, well, they will fade away, and that's okay. You will make room for people who understand and appreciate you for who you are. Boundaries are the foundation of healthy relationships. When you set them, you're not just protecting yourself, you're cultivating respect, love, and dignity. And once you set those boundaries, you can rest assured that the people who truly matter will respect them, and more importantly, they will treat you with the love and regard you deserve. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. It's a sign that you're serious about your well-being, your peace of mind, and your happiness. So don't be afraid to stand your ground. Be unapologetic about what you need and deserve. When you begin to prioritize your own needs, you create the space for growth, both emotionally and mentally. So often we give, whether it's our time, our attention, our energy, and we forget that we also need to replenish. Taking time for yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary for your emotional health. It's about understanding that in order to give the best of yourself to others, you first have to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. This isn't about being cold or detached from the people around you. It's about realizing that you are the center of your universe and that everything flows from the way you treat yourself. If you don't give yourself permission to take breaks, to say no, or to engage in self-care, you're setting yourself up for burnout. You are valuable, and treating yourself with that value is how you teach others to treat you the same way. You have to be deliberate in carving out time for yourself. Whether it's a few quiet moments to meditate, going for a walk, or simply saying no to commitments that drain you, it all matters. When you prioritize yourself, you send a powerful message to those around you that you matter. You send a message that your well-being isn't just optional, it's essential. For many women, this is where the struggle lies, not wanting to seem demanding, not wanting to appear as though we're being difficult. But there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that your needs, your peace of mind, and your emotional stability come first. When you prioritize yourself, you're ensuring that you have the emotional bandwidth to show up for others in a way that's authentic and sustainable. You're able to give more freely because you're giving from a full cup. Sometimes prioritizing yourself also means setting boundaries with people who may not understand your needs or may try to take advantage of your kindness. It's difficult at first. People may question why you're not as available or as accommodating as you used to be. They may push back, test your limits, or make you feel guilty. But it's important to stay firm. If you allow people to take advantage of you, you're not doing anyone any favors. By setting boundaries and prioritizing your well-being, you are teaching others that you value yourself. And you expect that same level of respect in return. This is not just about the people in your life. This is about showing yourself the love and care you've likely been showing to others. Think about it. You've probably spent years caring for others, pouring your energy into relationships, and yet have you given yourself that same level of attention? When was the last time you checked in with yourself to see what you truly need? When was the last time you took a break to re-energize? Prioritizing your needs doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you understand that by taking care of yourself, you're better equipped to show up for them in a way that's meaningful. In a world that often demands more from us than we have to give, the ability to prioritize your own needs is revolutionary. It's an act of self-respect that ripples out into every part of your life. You don't need to be constantly available to prove your worth. You don't need to be overcommitted to gain approval. The more you honor your own needs, the more you'll recognize your worth. So when you start putting yourself first, you're not being selfish. You're being self-aware, self-respecting, and self-caring. And through this process, you'll find that the right people, the ones who truly value you, will start treating you with the same respect and care. You'll notice a shift in the energy around you. People will begin to see your worth because you're showing them how to. Your needs, your peace, your happiness, they all matter. And once you begin to prioritize them, you'll not only attract the respect you deserve, but also the quality of relationships that reflect your own self-worth. The more you prioritize yourself, the more you'll find that others, especially men, will start treating you with the respect and admiration you've always deserved. It's time to stop shrinking yourself, stop settling, and to recognize your own power. Prioritize yourself because you are worth it. When you begin to develop an unshakable confidence in yourself, something powerful happens. People start to treat you differently. This isn't about putting on a facade or acting like you're perfect. It's about owning your value, embracing your uniqueness, and stepping into the full power of who you are. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's the quiet assurance that you deserve to be treated well, and that's what people will begin to reflect back to you. Confidence comes from within, and it starts with self-acceptance. For many of us, it's easy to get caught up in external validation. We look for approval from others to feel worthy or important. But true confidence doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. It comes from knowing deep down that you are enough just as you are. When you can stand in your own power and accept yourself completely, flaws, imperfections, strengths, and all, you begin to exude an energy that commands respect. This confidence doesn't mean you won't face challenges, doubts, or difficult moments. It doesn't mean you'll never feel insecure. But when you truly believe in your worth, you can bounce back from those moments quicker. You don't let them define you. Instead, you let them strengthen you, knowing that each setback is just a lesson that contributes to your growth. When you embrace your imperfections, you show the world that you are unapologetically yourself. And that in itself is a form of power. Confidence also comes from setting boundaries. When you know your worth, you are no longer afraid to stand up for yourself. You won't tolerate disrespect, mistreatment, or anyone who tries to make you feel less than you are. This doesn't mean being confrontational or aggressive, but it does mean being clear about what you will and won't accept. Setting boundaries is one of the clearest ways to show people how to treat you. When you draw the line and protect your peace, others will start to recognize and respect it. As you build confidence in yourself, it becomes easier to walk away from situations that don't serve you. You stop chasing after validation and start attracting what aligns with your energy. Whether it's in friendships, romantic relationships, or even at work, your confidence will set the tone for how people engage with you. You'll no longer have to beg for respect. It will be given to you because you have made it clear that you value yourself enough to not tolerate anything less. It's also important to remember that confidence doesn't mean you don't need help or support. Confidence means you can ask for help when you need it without feeling weak or inadequate. It means knowing when to lean on others and also when to stand tall and trust your own judgment. The more you nurture your inner strength, the more you'll be able to navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. The key to this transformation is taking small, consistent steps each day toward owning your worth. Every time you choose yourself over external approval, every time you speak your truth, every time you set a boundary and stand firm in your beliefs, you are reinforcing your own confidence. It's like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. Over time, you'll reach a point where you no longer have to question your worth. You'll simply know, deep in your bones, that you are deserving of respect, love, and success. When you exude this confidence, you'll notice a shift in how people treat you. Men, in particular, will start to see you differently. They'll begin to recognize that you are not someone to be taken for granted, but someone whose time, energy, and love are valuable. Confidence sets a standard, and the right people will rise to meet it. They will start treating you like a queen, not because you demand it, but because you set the bar for what you will accept. Confidence is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you truly believe in yourself, everything else falls into place. You attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences. Your life becomes a reflection of the value you place on yourself, and as you step into that power, the world around you will respond accordingly. It's time to stop doubting your worth. Start embracing the confidence that comes from knowing you are enough. And watch how the world begins to treat you like the queen you are. When you begin to elevate your self-worth, you no longer feel the need to chase after approval or validation. People who are meant to be in your life will naturally recognize and value you. By understanding your worth, you stop seeking external affirmation to feel secure. This is one of the most powerful shifts you can make, from seeking validation to offering it to yourself. It's about being solid in your own skin. When you stop constantly reaching out to others for their approval, you make room for people who will genuinely value you for who you are. This is when the magic happens. When you stop texting him, you create space for things to unfold naturally. Men and people in general start seeing your worth not through desperate actions or attention, but through The energy you exude shifts from needy to magnetic. Men won't feel the pressure of your expectations, and they'll respect you more for that. When you're not constantly reaching out or texting, you're telling them that your time is valuable and your energy is not to be wasted. That act alone demands respect. It doesn't matter if you don't get an immediate response or if they don't chase you right away. When they do come around, they'll see you as a person they need to earn, not a person they can take for granted. The reality is that when you stop texting him, you give yourself the space to discover who you truly are outside of your relationship with him. You learn how to enjoy your own company, how to build a fulfilling life independent of anyone else's approval. This shift not only makes you stronger, but also gives you the clarity to evaluate whether he truly deserves your attention. This doesn't mean that you should play games or be manipulative. It's simply about protecting your emotional well-being and creating a relationship dynamic where both people are equally invested. By not constantly texting him, you are showing him that you're not emotionally dependent on him for your happiness or validation. You are teaching him how to treat you by setting a standard for how you treat yourself. This quiet power is transformative. As you stop seeking validation, you'll notice that your relationships, including romantic ones, will become more balanced. Men will start treating you with the respect and admiration you deserve because you've set the bar high for how you expect to be treated. Your self-respect and self-love become non-negotiable, and those who truly value you will rise to meet that standard. So take a step back and let things unfold in their natural course. Don't waste your energy chasing him or texting him. When you stop chasing, you make room for him to show up in a way that's authentic and genuine. And when he does, it will be clear that he values you, not for the effort you put in, but for the woman you've become. When you stop texting him, you stop allowing yourself to remain emotionally tied to someone who isn't putting in the same effort. It's so easy to get caught up in the emotional roller coaster of waiting for a response, analyzing every word, every pause in conversation. But this type of emotional investment doesn't serve you, it drains you. The moment you stop texting, you reclaim your emotional energy. And you take back control over how you feel rather than letting someone else's actions dictate your mood. By no longer texting him, you allow yourself to breathe, to let go of that constant pressure. When you're emotionally tied to someone who isn't giving you the same level of effort, it's easy to lose track of who you are. You forget that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else. Your joy, your sense of self-worth, your peace of mind, they all come from within. This is about emotional freedom. It's not about playing games or acting cold. It's about giving yourself the space to reconnect with your own life, your own needs, and your own growth. Men, and anyone else for that matter, will respect you more when they see that you're whole on your own. You don't need to be constantly checking your phone, wondering if you've said the right thing or if he's going to respond. You deserve better than that. By taking a step back, you create the emotional space needed for clarity. And it's in that space that you start realizing that you don't need him to feel complete. You are already whole, and your value isn't determined by whether or not he texts you back. Letting go of this emotional tie is liberating. You begin to embrace your own independence, and with that comes the realization that you deserve someone who matches your energy, someone who is just as invested in you as you are in them. It's not about being perfect. It's about respecting yourself enough to walk away from any situation that isn't adding value to your life. So when you stop texting him, you make room for something better. You make room for your own peace, your own clarity, and for someone who will meet you where you are rather than leaving you questioning your worth. When you stop texting him, you start to send a clear message, not just to him, but to yourself. You're telling yourself that you are valuable, that your time and energy are not to be wasted. So often we give and give, hoping that someone will reciprocate the same level of care and effort. But when they don't, it's easy to lose sight of our own worth. By choosing to stop texting, you're choosing to stop settling for breadcrumbs, for half-hearted gestures, and for someone who doesn't truly value you. This decision is about taking a stand for yourself. You stop waiting around for someone who can't meet you where you are. Instead, you're saying, I deserve more than this. I deserve someone who will give as much as I do. You no longer allow yourself to be in a position where you feel like you're chasing after someone who isn't putting in the effort. You give up the idea that you have to fight for their attention or affection. Instead, you let them come to you if they really want to. This space you create by pulling back is crucial. It's not just about cutting off communication. It's about focusing on what you need, what you want, and what makes you feel whole. When you stop texting him, you're texting yourself. You focus on your own needs, your own goals, your own growth. You stop being someone who's constantly waiting and start becoming someone who is living, thriving, and growing on their own. And here's the thing, this doesn't mean you're cutting people out or giving up on love. It means you are making space for the kind of relationship that you truly deserve. Relationships are about balance, about mutual respect and effort. When you stop texting him, you're not saying that you'll never engage with anyone again. You're saying that you deserve someone who sees your value from the start. When you stop texting him, you're not only taking a break from the one person who hasn't prioritized you, you're also sending a message to the universe. You're signaling that you're done with unnecessary drama, that you're no longer available for energy that drains you. This simple decision shows that you respect yourself enough to stop chasing after someone who's not meeting your needs. It's important to realize that this is not about playing games or creating distance out of spite. It's about realigning your energy and priorities. When you step back and stop texting him, you take control of your narrative. You're not waiting for someone to define your worth. Instead, you redefine what you expect from a relationship. One of respect, communication, and mutual care. This is where your growth begins. It's not about shutting people out, it's about opening up space for better connections, ones that are built on understanding and mutual respect. When you stop texting, you give yourself the opportunity to heal, to focus on your own needs, and to remember that love starts with you. And by doing this, you put the power back in your hands. You don't need to chase validation or fight for someone's attention. When someone truly values you, they will show it without hesitation. If they don't, it's their loss, and you're one step closer to the kind of relationship you deserve, one that's equal, fulfilling, and built on love. When you stop texting him, you not only create space for yourself to grow, but you also allow him to experience the absence of your presence. And here's the reality. Sometimes people don't truly value what they have until it's gone. By stepping back, you're making a statement without saying a word. It's not about being cold or harsh. It's about giving him the opportunity to miss you and recognize your worth. The moment you stop texting, you take away the crutch that keeps the relationship stagnant. It forces him to confront the void you left behind. In the silence, he may realize that his behavior, his lack of effort, was taking you for granted. And when you stop reaching out, it pushes him into a position where he has to step up if he truly wants you in his life. This is not about manipulation. It's about respecting yourself enough to not chase someone who isn't showing up for you. By withholding that energy, you create the space for clarity. You give him the chance to either rise to the occasion or continue on with life, knowing he lost an opportunity to be with someone who values and respects him. In the end, when you stop texting, you're teaching him, and perhaps even yourself, the value of emotional independence. You show that your self-worth is not tied to his responses or actions. And if he truly cares, he will take action. If he doesn't, you've saved yourself time, energy, and emotional investment. Valuable resources that you can now redirect towards someone who truly deserves them. When you stop texting, it's more than just taking a break from communication. It's a statement of your self-worth and boundaries. You're not chasing validation or affection from someone who doesn't prioritize you. By choosing not to reach out, you're showing that you won't settle for breadcrumbs. You deserve the full meal. It's a powerful declaration that says, I know my value, and I won't accept anything less than what I'm worthy of. In that space where you're no longer chasing, you're reclaiming your power. The silence gives you the strength to focus on your own life, growth, and happiness without being caught in the web of another person's inconsistent actions. This break gives you the opportunity to rediscover your own happiness and peace without depending on someone else for your emotional fulfillment. And the beauty of this shift is that it invites clarity. It's in the quiet moments where you begin to see whether or not this person is truly invested in you or if they were just comfortable with the cycle you were both caught in. If he values you, he'll step up. But if he doesn't, you've given yourself the space to move forward, to focus on what truly matters, yourself. And that's where your strength lies, in choosing to stop texting and choosing to value your own peace and happiness above all else.